Nestled in the heart of Grasmere is Glenthorne Quaker Guest House, a place of community and serenity. Surrounded by some of the most idyllic scenery and described by poet William Wordsworth as the loveliest spot that man hath ever found. Boasting views of Easdale Valley and Silver Howe, Glenthorne has hosted many a traveller over the years wishing to experience such beauty. However, Glenthorne didn't start out life as a guest house, but a two-up, two-down cottage serving as a lodge to the Allenbank House and Estate. It was originally built in 1834 from stone produced at nearby Helm Crag Quarry. With various alterations and additions over the years, it later became the beloved family home of Linton Taylor, a Yorkshire carpet manufacturer and prominent Quaker. When Linton Taylor died in 1961, he left Glenthorne and adjoining stables to Westmoreland and North Yorkshire central meetings of the Religious Society of Friends, the Quakers. The Quakers also agreed a long lease with National Trust for part of the old stable block which they own, and converting the whole of that building into what is now known as Bankside. In 1964, Glenthorne opened its doors as a guest house for all. It provides a place of worship, respite and renewal. One person who helps with this undertaking is Terence Winderton, our resident Quaker.
Oh, well, my role is to be a Quaker presence. That's the prime part of it, because none of the other staff, there are about 12 staff, none of the staff are Quakers, so I'm it. So I'm here to do anything to deal with Quakers. So there's a meeting of worship in the morning, there's the brochures the brochure with the courses on it, I organise those, talk to people about Quakers and about their life, and part of the management team just to keep an overview of things. It's owned by Quakers, it's a Quaker charity, but it's not just for Quakers. I mean, many people come here. So this is a little sign we put up. This is means we're 3 days in on the Wainwright Coast to Coast walk. So we get a lot of walkers coming through on that walk. Many people, I mean, there are people who have been coming here for more than 50 years, families and things like that. Not necessarily Quakers, some are, some aren't. It's probably, I don't know what the mix is, probably 40% Quakers, 60% none, and depends who's here. Sometimes there's none and sometimes there's a lot. So you don't need to be religious to come here. So it's been running about 15 years. Over 1,000 people refugees and asylum seekers have benefited from, well, I think it's 69 countries to date. Basically, we offer a week, 6 weekends a year, fully paid transport and time here for primarily asylum seekers, to give them a break from the urban places they live in. It's a bit depressing and they're in limbo. So I pick them up from the station at Windermere, bring them here, and we spend 2 days together. We go on a boat trip and things like that. And it's really, I think the most important element of it is not that they get to the free stay, it's the fact that the goodwill that's generated, and they realise that they're just, well, they are normal human beings, but they're treated like normal human beings, I guess, when they come here. So that's been, it's been fabulous, really. And I raise money for that from investor trusts, people who come here, and from Quaker meetings. Oh, well, I met my wife here. I've been here about 3 or 4 months, and my wife came on a course called Stilling the Mind. It was all for ladies. And we met here, partially over a hot water bottle. So I don't really want to know about the hot water bottle, you probably don't. Well, so basically it was in the morning, and she was asking, it was mid-August, asking about whether we had a hot water bottle. And I sort of walked past reception, and one of the receptionists asked me if I had, and I just sort of looked at the heavens and think, who wants a hot water bottle in August? And I went to the lost property box, pulled out a furry hot water bottle and gave it to her. So that was very impressive, apparently. That was the start of the relationship. Oh, well, we sell, for a nominal amount, we sell postcards and some paintings that some of the trustees have done, or some of the people who run the courses who have done, and that goes into the bursary fund, so they're on display, and of landscapes and different things that people have done. Welcome to Glenthorne. Just behind you is the Sybil Taylor room, which is the wife of the person who donated it to Glenthorne in 1964. He was a carpet manufacturer from Yorkshire. He was a wealthy Quaker. So they're just doing a course on here on art, spirit and life at the moment. It's just a few of them. So it's the sort of events room, and we do things like yoga and stuff in there. So it's a lovely room to have. And over here, that's all National Trust land. You can't quite see the house up there is Allen Bank, which is one of Wordsworth houses. And across there is my favourite path that goes down to the village, which you can't see very well at the moment. Here is part of the garden, and in there this is the part of the main house in there, and that's the garden room or the conservatory where we usually do the morning meeting for worship, which is 20 minutes. It's an absolutely gorgeous room. If you want one room in the house, one of the best places, go and sit in that chair there with your back to the wall, looking out up at the hills. You can't see it quite so well, but the view up there is just wonderful. It's always changing. The Silver How up there. So that's the main entrance here. So welcome to Glenthorne, it says. And this is where everybody comes in when they first arrive. And here is the communal lounge. People come and relax. And the good stuff happens in here. And there's the conservatory through there. Tea spots, tea, coffee, anything you like, any variety of tea. Some information on Quakers. Notice board with stuff up mostly about Quakers. That's about the local project there. You can see I always take a picture of each group that comes. There's 6 groups on here from last year, and there's the financial stuff, and then there's a lot of blurb about the holidays and about some Quaker stuff. A bell that's rung in the evenings at 7 o'clock. That gets done so everybody comes into their dinner in here in the dining room. They come in and they will sit where they want really. Everybody sits in together usually. It's set up for breakfast mostly. That's for the dinner tonight and breakfast here. So they sit. There's a bay area here, and mostly people can sit where they like. So you get to talk to strangers that you've never met before. Sometimes people sit in particular groups, but it just depends. You can see the bay area. It's a lovely place to sit. It's always lovely and warm. And we'll just go outside and have a little look around the garden so I can show you a couple of interesting things. So it's evolved from what would have been once a bit more like a youth hostel to what it is now, which is a guest house or a hotel really. 26 rooms, 45 beds, and most of them are en suite now. So it's a lovely place. There are no TVs in the rooms. There's one big TV in the Sybil Taylor room for presentations and things. So it's a quiet place, a place you might come for a retreat, but that's basically a bit of a time away from the hassles and bustles of the world, although there's a good internet set up. So as we come over here, this building here that sort of extends beyond here is another it's an annex where a lot of the rooms are. So and here's one of my favourite spots, this little thing that looks like a bird feeder is actually a squirrel feeder. So the little red squirrels come along and they take a hazelnut, which we got, and you can see the remains of various bits. There's one there. Oh, actually, that's one he hasn't eaten. That's interesting. There were off there cracked ones around about here. So they come in not quite every day, but fairly regularly. They come from over there and pick this up, and then they go. If I put them out at this time of the year, they go and bury them instantly, so I try not to do that too much. And then as we walk into the other parts of the garden, you get a feel for there's the annex, the back end of the annex anyway, with different rooms in it, and you get a feel for the fells as you look out above here. You can climb over all of these. I've done them all, but people come here a lot for that, and of course you can't quite see it through the trees. There is a prominent one, Helm Crag, which you can see if you go around the side here. That sound about Helm Crag is something that nearly everybody goes up to. It'll probably take you about an hour to get up there and about 40 minutes to get back. So if you come and visit, make sure you go there.
Grasmere, like Glenthorne, has a rich local history. It has a centuries-old annual tradition of rush bearing. Children carrying rush crosses and flower-decorated bearings process through the village, ending at St Oswald's Church, where the rush crosses are placed on the altar. Rush bearing started in medieval times, when parishioners would bring rushes to the church to be strewn on the floor. The rushes were originally used to keep the church floor clean and to help insulate the worshippers from the cold. The practice of rush bearing has since evolved into a colourful and festive event. Grasmere is also home to the famous gingerbread shop. So whether you are after a culinary treat, a scenic walk, or some thoughtful respite, please feel welcome to join us at Glenthorne Quaker Guest House.